A shakeup in local sports could mean more level competition and longer travel times for some student athletes and fans. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, 6 school sports programs in the region join forces to form a new conference. Plus, with the closure of the Tyson plant just days away, one worker expresses her hopes and anxiety for the future. And an area animal shelter hits critical capacity. Hear how it's trying to deal with the problem.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Big shakeup is coming for a local sports program. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM Sports Director John Dales joins us with more.
Thanks, Dow. Carl Junction High School leaving the Central Ozark Conference so that the Bulldogs can play similarly sized schools. However, that comes at the cost of a lot of gas mileage for Bulldogs parents, fans, and team buses. I've got more details on how far CJ has to travel within the conference coming up in sports.
See you soon. When the Tyson plant in Noel, Missouri closes on Friday, about 1,500 jobs will disappear. The company is offering $1,000 for those who work until the very last day, according to employees, not taking into consideration how long those people worked for the company. The employees who chose to stay until the last day to receive the compensation are now dealing with the uncertainty about their futures. Yaneth Gonzalez, who is originally from El Salvador, says the situation has been especially stressful for immigrants who don't speak English and those who, unlike her, don't have their papers. Our reporter Fernandez Silva provided the translation.
They don't have anywhere to work because they left their lives there, bought their houses, have their cars, and many dreams they had. And now with this that is happening to them, it's been difficult for me to see them cry.
Yaneth Gonzalez also said the company's hiring usually offer night shift, making it harder for women with kids. We also reached out to Tyson, who emailed us answers to our questions. Tyson says they're offering a $5,000 transfer bonus and up to $5,000 assistance for moving expenses for team members who physically move to another Tyson Foods facility. Tyson spokesperson says 16% of the workforce plans to remain employed by the company. Also, according to Tyson, they've coordinated with outside employers and the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development, who share employment opportunities, unemployment assistance, and other support for employees. Boy, another beautiful day out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
You're right, Dow. It's a beautiful day across the area and a beautiful evening. We do have some storms on radar. That's part of the next storm system that's developing, but they're way up to the north of Nebraska and northwestern Kansas tonight. We're not expecting any storms tonight. Instead, we're going to see temperatures dropping through the 60s to about 61 degrees by tomorrow morning. Sending out the kids to school, well, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and a temperature of around 62. And then when they come home from school, mostly fair skies, a few clouds, windy with a temperature of 78. And those winds are going to be with us through the overnight hours and into tomorrow, where we could see gusts over 30 miles per hour, even approaching 40 miles per hour by tomorrow afternoon up towards the north and west. Looking down the lane, we're going to be windy tonight with storms late tomorrow night, and then cooler for your Friday and even chilly for the weekend. And I'll tell you more about that in just a bit.
See you soon. A Baxter Springs, Kansas man is looking for answers about who's on the hook for his damaged water meter. After receiving a higher than usual water bill from the city, William Mortel was notified his water meter was damaged. Mortel was billed $200 to repair the meter, but he thought Right Tree Service would take accountability since the meter was working before they worked on the property. He says the company was contracted by Liberty to cut branches. Mortel says he's understanding, but believes someone else's mistake shouldn't be on his dime.
I came home from work one day and I saw the tree service was back here examining it. So I came back here to talk to them, and they're like, yeah, that's not from our trucks. If we ran that over, we would have crushed it. I'm like, well, it's crushed. So
KOAM reached out to Liberty Utilities and Right Tree Service for a statement. We have not yet received a response. Environmentalists and government officials gathered today at NEO A&M College in Miami for the 25th National Environmental Conference. That site was chosen because of its proximity to the Tar Creek Superfund site. Officials were able to give updates on cleanup projects in the area, including Tar Creek and Pitcher, as well as how Miami is fighting flooding.
To highlight and explain and explore the environmental challenges that we face and the environmental justice challenges that we face in northeastern Oklahoma.
People who are currently taking part in the cleanup efforts and those who have retired from the projects were able to share personal stories about those efforts. Pittsburgh residents today had a chance to meet the candidates running for the district's Board of Education. Root Coffee House hosted the event in partnership with the Pittsburgh Education Association. That coffee house will host another public meeting between residents and candidates on October 25th from 4 to 6 p.m. It's Adopt a Dog Month at the Joplin Humane Society, so they're offering lowered adoption fees. This comes as the shelter hits critical capacity. KOAM's Miranda Burton has more.
Through October 15th, approved pet lovers can adopt for just $25. Not only is this special timely for Adopt a Dog Month, it's also a necessary measure as their numbers have increased.
We have been full as long as I can remember this year. There's been times in the past where it's like, oh, we're doing good, making some progress, and then next thing you know, it's packed, but we haven't seemed to have had any sort of break yet this year.
While it is often a struggle to get animals adopted, some people adopt and keep coming back for more. Volunteer Savannah Fisher has adopted a cat, Bentley, and 2 dogs, Spunker Baby and Monkey.
Was a foster fail, and now he lives with us, and he goes hiking and camping, and a big adventure pup. And then we also have Monkey, and he does the same thing.
Other volunteers told a similar story to Fisher's, but they are still encouraging others to foster or adopt, and not just dogs.
It's just a rewarding experience for people to foster. I know a lot of foster fails, a lot of people do little kittens and they, wind up adopting them, and that's great. And it frees up space here at the shelter for another cat to take that spot.
The Humane Society asks community members to consider ways they can help without having to take pets home.
They can definitely come out and help us socialize the animals here. We're always in need of supplies, so everything that you might use at home for your pets, we can use it here.
Supplies they regularly need are dry and wet food, bowls, collars, and leashes. Reporting from Joplin, Missouri, this is Miranda Burton with KOAM News.
Now, many animals that end up at the Humane Society are lost but still beloved pets. The Humane Society reminds owners to microchip their pets and make sure that information is current. Coming up, the Parsons Historical Museum enlists the aid of a psychic medium to help it raise funds. Plus, some area powerhouses get ready for postseason softball. John's going to step up to the plate with all the details. Students at Pitt State had a chance to conduct a crime scene investigation of sorts. It was a simulated crime scene. The criminal forensics class instructor is collaborating with Pitt State Police and Public Safety to design and run the simulation. The simulation adds realistic components such as a crime scene perimeter. One priority is that students process the scene in the given time they have.
No, so now that evidence is what's going to help determine and give us a clearer picture as far as what happened, right? So that's going to be sent off to the lab, and then the lab is going to come back with our results and hopefully give the investigators a more conclusive idea as far as what happened.
That simulation was on the north side of PSU's Russ Hall. This weekend, the Parsons Historical Museum is hosting its second annual Night at the Museum fundraiser. The featured guest for the event is psychic medium Julie Kellogg. KOAM's Tanya Bach took a quick tour of the museum with her.
If history could talk, you'd never get a word in at the Parsons Historical Museum.
So much to see. I mean, it's one of those places you can't just come and spend an hour.
Jonna Gabbard is on the Parsons Museum Board. She's part of the team that's working to catalog the thousands of items the museum has to offer. Items that each have a story to tell.
I'm the medium space. I'm the messenger.
Enter psychic medium Julie Kellogg.
And see, some of the things like these, I didn't know what was here, and I just brushed against this, and I can feel the energy from these jackets. I think they're military or something.
Kellogg realized she had a unique ability when she was about 8 years old.
I started then paying attention to when I felt something, or I saw something, or I heard something.
She can see dead people and even talk to them.
Are you noticing any spirits as we move through the museum?
Actually, I just heard I don't know if you noticed, I paused for a moment. When we were talking, I heard a lady say, "My baby's things are here." And I feel like it's these shoes. I don't know if there's any identification on that, but like this baby didn't make it. So that's the sadness I feel, and sorry. Sometimes when they come through, I feel that, and I get a little emotional. I can't imagine what it'd be like to lose a child.
From a story of sadness stemming from a pair of baby shoes to a terrifying story that led to an advance in X-ray technology.
In the beginning stages of this, I just saw person after person, they're trying to do X-rays on them, but it literally cooked them on the inside. And that's kind of a creepy, gross thing to say, but it's, and I see those things. So I see these people and I see them, like the inside of them is just burnt up, and there might be just like a little spot on the outside, but inside it just changed everything for them.
A painful but important piece of history in a museum filled with stories.
I kind of think of it of like an antique store where you got to go in and you got to look up, down, and left and right to see everything because there's so many layers.
Layers Gabbard says are waiting to be discovered and hopefully never forgotten. Reporting in Parsons, Kansas, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
This weekend's event is sold out, but you can find a link to Kellogg's website on ours at KOAMnewsnow.com. In the article, Kellogg also shows us how to protect yourself from unwanted spirits this Halloween season. A little bit later, some classic video game characters spread the word about the benefits of school lunch.
We're going to take a look at the chilly forecast for this weekend. I'll let you know how low it's going to go when we come back. Another gorgeous day across the 4 states with temperatures in the 80s in some locations. A little bit on the breezy side. Let's start out this morning at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And as we start through the motion, you can see the clouds started to come and go during the day. Some stratocumulus and then cumulus this afternoon. A beautiful sunset shaped up across the area this evening. We did make it up to 81 today after starting out at 63. And of course, both of those were above the normals of 73 and 50. And we set the record 3 years ago, back in 2020, of 91 degrees, and we're still way behind on the rainfall. This evening, though, temperatures are very pleasant. Pick out your hometown. A little bit cooler off to the east in Cassville, where there's 62. Meanwhile, it's still 70 in Sedan and 71 in Yates Center for some of the warmest readings, and those south winds still continuing to pump up moisture from the south. Right now, we're looking at rain chances remaining close to zero for the next, let's say 24 hours, but then they begin to increase as we go into late tomorrow night into early Friday morning. So breaking it down, we're looking at temperatures tonight dropping down into around 60 degrees with south winds continuing and maybe some sprinkles out towards the west. Then as we head through the day tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures rebounding into the upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s down to the south and northeast Oklahoma. Strong south winds ahead of that system. Then here comes the dry line, and when that dry line comes through, we're expecting showers and storms to develop along and ahead of it. Not everybody's going to get rain, but where it does rain, the storms could be heavy or strong. Then that moves off towards the east, and then here comes the cold front behind that, still spreading some showers in the morning with temperatures around 60. And then as the front blows through, we're going to see temperatures rebounding into the low to mid 60s, and that's about all. And then northwesterly winds will come in behind that, and then we're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 40s to around 50 degrees by Saturday morning. Here's the storm system right now. It's still over the mountains, pulls out into the plains tomorrow with that front, and then the front rapidly pulls off towards the east, and then behind it, here comes the chilly air just in time for the weekend as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Severe weather is expected to be up to the north tomorrow with that system, mainly Omaha, St. Joseph, up towards Kansas City, maybe as close to us as Emporia, and that is about it. Rainfall amounts are not expected to be intense, just maybe around 1/10 to maybe 3/10 of an inch of rain in some of the heavier storms. And over the next 7 days, here's the forecast. We're expecting 80 tomorrow with windy conditions, storms late, and then Friday, 70 degrees. That'll mainly be in the morning hours, and then falling during the day. And then look at that, Dow, only in the 50s for the weekend for highs and 40s for lows, and then some showers around midweek next week with temperatures still below normal for this time of year.
Yeah, when you're looking at highs that are not possibly reaching 60 degrees, that's officially chilly, I think.
That's what I call chilly, yep.
It is, and a good weather to maybe
make
drop a bowl of chili. I think I'll do that.
Right.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, the Anderson Elementary School leveled up for lunch, maybe not chili, but for lunch with the help of some video game characters. McDonald County Schools teamed up with OPAA Foods, the district's food service provider, as part of the nationwide celebration of National School Lunch Week. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach took on the roles of lunch servers today. The event's part of a week-long celebration of the vital role that school lunches play in nurturing the health and success of students.
They'll be excited. I think they'll be excited because, number one, it's Chicken Patty Day. What kid doesn't like Chicken Patty Day? And number two, kids love video games, and they're going to love seeing us and our costumes.
The creative campaign theme is called Level Up with School Lunch. Still ahead, Carl Junction High School leaves the Central Ozark Conference. John Dales is going to explain why the Bulldogs will be traveling more than an hour to all their conference games going forward. That story and more up next.
Carl Junction's time as a member of the Central Ozark Conference is coming to an end. The high school announces today it is leaving to form a new league with 5 other schools known as the Ozark Mountain Conference. Now that includes another current member of the COC, that being Branson, along with Bolivar, Logan Rogersville, Marshfield, and West Plains. Carl Junction's superintendent, Philip Cook, says joining this new conference, quote, allows our student athletes to compete at a high level with similarly sized, outstanding school districts. Now that competition level is the primary factor in the move, even if it comes at the cost of farther drives to away games.
There's always non-conference schedules in all sports, and so driving is, it's kind of part of it, and you can't, at the end of the day, you kind of have to find a medium, if you will. Or a median, if you will, as far as, we want this, and we want this, and we want this, and so where can we get, get to satisfy all those needs.
One of the first thoughts a lot of people have after seeing this realignment is how far away the other conference members are from Carl Junction. Here's a look at the breakdown of distances on your screen. Closest school is an hour and a half away, that's Logan Rogersville. The farthest travel is going all the way to West Plains, which is 180 miles away. That's 3 hours each direction in the car or school bus. Playoff softball nearly here. Tomorrow, Missouri high schools begin with district playoffs with several of our local teams in the same tournaments. Beginning with the Class 4 District 7 tournament taking place up in Nevada. The Tigers are the #1 overall seed. They play a quarterfinal at noon against Raytown South. If Nevada wins, it faces the winner between McDonald County and Carl Junction. Webb City is the 2 seed in that bracket. The Cardinals play at 7 tomorrow evening against Raytown. Both semifinals will be taking place on Saturday. Then to the Class 5 District 7 tournament, this one being held in Joplin. Ray-Pac is the #1 seed. Joplin and Carthage see each other in the quarterfinals. That's Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., Neosho plays Lee's Summit at 5. The Wildcats enter having won 13 of their last 14, and KOAM has the coverage throughout the weekend into Monday for both tournaments as well. Over to the MLB postseason. A year ago, Philadelphia went on a magical run to the World Series as a wild card team. Things are looking pretty similar this October. They win Game 3 of the NLDS in convincing fashion, 10-2 over the Braves. Philly hits 6 homers in the win. Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos hit 2 apiece. Over in the American League, the Astros advanced to the ALCS. They disposed of the Twins in 4 games. The American League Championship Series will feature 2 teams from the same division this year. The AL West champ Astros will play the Rangers, who are a wild card team, but they just got finished sweeping the 1 seed Baltimore. And one of the most impressive stats to come out of this postseason, I think, is the Astros, with this win, they have now made it to the American League Championship Series 7 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like they are the Kansas City Chiefs of the MLB.
It feels like it, yeah.
I guess. We'll be right back.
I know.
Okay, you're not going to need the sweater or the sweatshirts tomorrow, but keep them close at hand because before the weekend is through, you're going to be wearing those.
That's right. The front's going to be sweeping through on Friday morning, and temperatures dropping down only in the 50s on the weekend with lows in the 40s, even 38 on Tuesday morning. And then another chance of showers middle to latter part of next week. Still unsettled at this point to nail down exactly, but it's going to be below normal for several days in a row. Definitely fall-like weather for sure.
Yeah, nice weather to get outside, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I love these crisp days. Final sports notes.
Yeah, tomorrow, like I talked about, is the beginning of playoffs for the softball teams in the area in Missouri. District playoffs start tomorrow. Also, tomorrow afternoon, we hear from Pitt State football as they gear up to play Missouri Southern this Saturday.
Yeah, Pitt State's still undefeated.
They are,
and a
yes.
big rivalry game ahead. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a live look from the Santa Monica Pier in California. Look at that. It's spectacular. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Let's make it a great one.